Hi, Lily. I heard that you were not feeling the best. I hope that you either by now are already feeling better or that you have begun feeling better and are on the road to recovery. Okay, so last we met, I know we had gone over the March on DEF, and I believe we left off on Mr. Bluebird. So just remember the key to this song, or the key to making it really easy at least, is realizing, hey, all of these notes that we're playing are pretty much just a step away from each other. And if you think about the scales that we've been playing, especially the C major one, which this one is using the C major scale, the the notes are all right next to each other. So while we're looking at the page, instead of going, this is G, what's the next note? F, then we have E, then D, then C. Well, we know they're all next to each other. We know all these notes are next to each other. So really, we just have to watch out for what direction the notes are moving in. So like in our first bar, we start on G, right? And it's going down. And it stops going down in the next bar whenever we get to C. And guess what it does? It goes right back up. So that kind of reading will really help. You won't have to think nearly as much about what notes you're playing, and you can just pay attention to what line, the shape of the line that the music is making, right? And then you also have to look out for notes that are repeating. If they're repeating, then you can just draw a big fat circle around them, and it'll tell you, oh, hey, boom, 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 stay on this note, right? Okay, but today, what I wanted to talk with you about was actually a new scale. I know we've been over 8 of them so far, from C major all the way up to C sharp major. And you may have noticed, or maybe you hadn't noticed, that every time I gave you a new scale, we added exactly one more sharp, right? We went from C to G, and then that added one sharp. Then from G to D, and that was two. Then D to A, three. A to E, four. E to B, five. B to F sharp, six. And then F sharp to C sharp, seven. So that's all well and good, but we can't just keep adding sharps. I mean, we could, but then it's going to start getting convoluted. We'll get into double sharp territory. And based on Chloe's response to that, I'm sure you wouldn't really be a fan of that either. But have no fear. Remember, we have another accidental, our flats, right? So, what we did in order to add our sharps was we used what we call the circle of fifths. So, let's say all of our scales have numbers attached to them. The first one that we start on would be 1, right? And then we just count up. So, if in C, we have 1 for C, 2 is D, 3 is E, F is 4, 5 is G, 6 is A, 7 is B, and then we get back to our C, right? Another 1. We could call it 8, we'll just call it 1 again for simplicity. But in order to get the new scales that added exactly 1 sharp, I counted up to the 5, our fifth note in the scale. So C, D, E, F, G. And we took this letter, our fifth letter, and we started a new scale off of that. So now G is 1. And then if you keep going through that process and we follow both of our major scale rules, that's how you end up with scales that have sharps in them, right? But we have a whole other set of scales that don't use sharps. Remember, we have flats. So today we're going to go over our F major scale. So, how do we get to it though? Well, we're going to do something very similar, but instead of using our 5, the fifth note in our scale, we're going to use the fourth note. So we're in C major. No sharps, no flats, just regular C. We count up to our 4. So C, D, E, F. Oops. F is our 4, right? So what if we start a major scale on the letter F? Well, let's take a peek over here at our handy dandy little piano. If we start on F, 1 second, making sure we can hear this. Yep. Just gonna turn it up a bit. So if we start on F here, we have to go through a whole step and half step process, right? So F, whole step G, whole step A, whole step this note, whole step C, whole step D, whole step E, half step F. All right. So we can't call this note A sharp, right? We can't go A sharp, C, because then we would break one of our rules. We have to use every letter one time, right? So the other name for this note, it has to be B flat. That's our only other option. Okay, great. So we have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. All right. Well, how do we play it? You're going to notice something a little strange about our F major scale. It is very similar to our B major scale. Not in the construction of the notes, but in the way that we have to play it. So in our right hand, our pinky gets excluded. We aren't using our pinky at all for the right hand. So you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll cross under 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. But for our left hand, we use up all of our fingers. It'll kind of just be the regular pattern we've been using. So, as you're working on your F major scale, just remember your pinky in your right hand is not useful to this scale at all. Just like how in B major, the pinky in the left hand was not useful to us at all. So take it slow, throw the metronome on maybe like 60, and then play the right hand at half notes, play the left hand at half notes until they get comfortable, and then you combine them and try them out that way. All right, Lily. Again, I hope that you start to feel better very soon, and I will see you, I guess not next week, but the week after. Bye.